A reading from the book of Ecclesiastes. Rejoice, O young man, while you are young, and let your heart be glad in the days of your youth. Follow the ways of your heart, the vision of your eyes. Yet understand that as regards all this, God will bring you to judgment. Ward off grief from your heart and put away trouble from your presence, though the dawn of youth is fleeting. Remember your Creator in the days of your youth, before the evil days come, and the years approach in which you will say, I have no pleasure in them. Before the sun is darkened, and the light and the moon and the stars, while the clouds return after the rain, when the guardians of the house tremble, and the strong men are bent, and the grinders are idle because they are few, and they who look through the windows grow blind. When the doors to the street are shut, and the sound of the mill is low. When one waits for the chirp of a bird, but all the daughters of song are suppressed, and one fears heights and perils in the streets. When the almond tree blooms and the locust grows sluggish and the caperberry is without effect. Because man goes to his lasting home, and mourners go about the streets. Before the silver cord is snapped, and the golden bowl is broken, and the pitcher is shattered at the spring, and the broken pulley falls into the well, and the dust returns to the earth as it once was, and the life breath returns to God who gave it. Vanity of vanities, says Koheleth. All things are vanity. The word of the Lord.
Thanks to you, Lord Jesus Christ.
Good morning. Welcome to those joining us on the live stream. This final chapter of Ecclesiastes in our first reading today contains teachings for both the young and the old. The spiritual undercurrent in advice given for the young can be paraphrased by the admonition of a 19th century Anglican bishop. Do not think that you can live life of a sinner and then die the death of a saint. And the English poet William Wordsworth buttresses this advice when he writes, "The child is the father of the man." The habits that we form when young determine the success or failure in adulthood. Good and bad habits are formed in the same way, little bit by little bit. Habits are like a cable, and you weave a strand a day until it becomes unbreakable. Good habits carry one to success, and bad habits bring ruin. Words of wisdom offered to the young are, the time to control your future by forming good habits is now. For tomorrow is the devil's day, but today is God's. Satan doesn't care how spiritual your intentions are or how holy your resolutions might be, so long as they are put off until tomorrow. So, how to enjoy life as a youth and then die the death of a saint? Well, in the words of St. Augustine, love God and do whatever you please. Because when we love God, the desires of our heart change to do what is pleasing to God. Translation of the metaphors used in Ecclesiastes will help transition our focus now to the later stage of life. The guardians of the house tremble. That refers to the trembling hands of old age. The strong men are bent is about having drooped shoulders from deteriorating muscles. The grinders are idle because they are few. That's talking about the loss of teeth. They who look through the windows grow blind refers to the dimming of eyes that comes with old age. The doors to the street are shut, and the sound of the mill is low, is about deterioration in hearing. When the almond tree blooms, represents the white hair of old age. The locust grows sluggish, is about able-bodied youth which has now grown old and cannot move as well as before. And the caperberry is without effect refers to the loss of libido. This paints an honest picture of some of the hardships of getting old. And we can fear this transition, or we can be honest about it, because grace is available when we are truthful, not when we're in denial. And the truth is that aging is hard, but it's also freeing. When we're old, our identities are formed, and we're comfortable in our own skin. We're not constantly comparing ourselves with others, and we're free to be the person that God made us to be. But we must remember that we were created for a purpose. God designed us to make a difference and to improve the world through the talents and abilities that He gave us. And we still have at least one important reason to get up every morning. The important task of declaring the mighty acts of God to the younger generation, to pass on our wisdom, to tell the deep truth of the transitoriness and the fragility of all existence, and the importance of using our time well, whether it's long or short, to show through the joys and pains that make up every life that God's love and compassion is found there. Life is to be enjoyed, but with the realization that on this earth, it has a very definite end for all of us. Today, when we come forward to receive the bread from heaven, may we be mindful of the vanity or futility of life on this fallen earth. We were not made for aging or death. We were made for eternity. And God has put eternity in our hearts.